Now, beyond him, there are great men in the world, wealthy men in the world, who are so not just wealthy in money, but powerful men, very influential, and made great impact, and they just couldn't control their lives, whether in sports, in business, in different spheres of life. So pretty much you would look at what the governor was trying to say. On the other hand, you also heard the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. If there's nothing in the struggle, don't struggle. We'll sit down this morning and look at the comments made by this gentleman, and perhaps some people are already beginning to paint pictures and try to drag meanings into it, especially what was said by the Senate President. Some people also were trying to make meanings out of what was said by the governor, the area where he said, "Why do we struggle? Why do we fight? What is the point? What is the need for all of this?" Is where we are. So this morning, our conversation on this would I'm laughing because I can't wait to hear what you would say about it. But my guest, I wouldn't be talking about this alone, of course. Former Deputy Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly is joining me in the studio this morning for this conversation. Leyii Kwanee would be with me in the studio, and we are going to look at what was said by the governor, especially the message to the political class, and we're going to ask ourselves very important questions like why is it so interesting? Because a lot of people were reacting to that message, and I said it's not the first time we've heard leaders, whether from the religious sect or from wherever, make such comment. It's not the first time we're having people of power and influence pass on in such a manner and such with a very short lifespan, with so much pain attached to it, and the lessons that we could draw from it. There's been many in the past, but did the politicians learn? Did they understand the essence of life? Because for many, it's about getting the essence of life, and that's what some people think the governor was trying to say. Well, if you followed most of the comments on social media, I'll get on to my guest now. Former Deputy Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly, Mr. Kwanee, thank you for joining us, and good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Andrew, and thank you for having me this morning.
I'm glad you made it, because I remember we had to change the plans. We were supposed to have the conversation. Let me just tell you guys, the conversation was supposed to be held over the phone, and then he called me last minute and said there are certain issues. Let me rush down, and so it's glad to see that you could make it. So I take the traffic wasn't too bad.
I have to stop my car somewhere and start running down so that I can meet with the timing.
Thank you.
Mr.
So in case you didn't hear it, maybe I'll just play it again. The comments of the Rivers State Governor at the service in honor of late Herbert Wigwe, his wife and son. So this was what was said by the governor.
This one has to do with our political class. What is all this struggle all about? You want to kill, you want to bury. What is it all about? This is a man, he's not a politician. He made his money through us, our investment. He controls even the political classes. But today, with all the power, couldn't control life. Is it not enough for us to ask ourselves, why are we struggling? Why are we not making impact in the life of our people?
A direct message to the political class. Why are we not making impact? So, some people would say, coming from a governor, it's clear that he sees that politicians are not making impact that they should make. Is that what it is?
Well, Mr. Andrew, considering the insensitivity of this matter and the importance I attach to it, I have decided to be with you in the studio this morning. You know, leadership is all about the people. It's not about self, but it's so unfortunate that we found in our political space today a lot of greedy men, self-seekers, who are inconsiderate of the people they claim they are leading. And for this kind of witty statement coming from the governor of Rivers State, as at this time, is very, very welcoming and very encouraging. You know, I have spoken severally. We know the circumstances how Fubara emerged as governor of Rivers State. My excitement today is that on a daily basis, he seems to be gaining ground and gaining legitimacy. And Nobody can take that away from him. That is the present governor of Rivers State. So we currently look up to him. So statements coming from him are viewed as very sacred, and it is encouraging that a leader of the people of Rivers State has decided to place himself in this mold that we have long been expecting.
It's interesting because before the service where he made this statement, prior to that, he had in an interview also said that if leaving the office as governor, if resigning as governor is what would make lasting peace in Rivers, he's willing to go that far just to ensure that there is peace. He would resign and leave the office. Beyond that, there's been rumors that went round at the heat of everything that happened at the time that the governor was even willing to resign. So some people now look at his character and say, okay, does this not mean something to you, like just willing to let go of everything? and then now he comes and makes this comment where saying control life. It's almost as, why attach so much importance to these things when we don't need to? How do you interpret this as a Rivers person? There are some people who think otherwise, who would also go to what Godswill Akpabio, the Senate president, said in response to some people think that what the governor said perhaps could be him taking slight jabs at the FC minister. I was watching the comment session while he was talking, and you will see different people with different opinions. Even now, if you go online, there are people who said he's taking shots, he's being petty, and all of those comments were being made. But one thing was, he said directly to us, the political class, the politicians. He was very specific about that. So how would you interpret this? Is there anything that politicians would this message change anything in how politicians approach their matters?
Yeah, Mr. Andrew, you recall that you've given me a series of invitations which I have always been turning down.
Yes.
You see, the time has come, and it is now that I can no longer sit on the sideline and allow events to just pass by, because life, like we can see in the case of our late brother Herbert, is very, very transient. Nobody will remember Herbert for the so much money in his bank account. He can only be remembered for the services he has rendered unto the people. So that's why you see men like us, we have decided and resolved a statement to come all out, to give our backing, to give our support to SIM. I'm not speaking for the governor, but I'm speaking as a statesman. You see, taking this a little further, that SIM said he was going to resign. I think men like us, we are ready to mobilize and to occupy the gate of Brick House to stop all of that, because Rivers State is in the process of rediscovering itself. We are evolving as a state, and as the father figure, let me use that word for Rivers for now. People like us, with all of our integrity, our capacity, our competence, we are consulting very widely and talking with like-minded men to all come up so that we can be on the same page. Because you see, politics and service to Rivers people is all about the people. It's about contribution and not about acquisition. I have known Fubara right from the days as an officer in the office of the Accountant General of the state, a very humble person and not very ambitious. So if there is, no matter how he emerged as the governor, but he is in he will give necessary support. He is going to do far beyond so many people's expectations.
So you think that politicians would not take this message from him seriously?
Well, this
shouldn't it be a wake up call? I mean, we've had, for instance, we have the food security problem, scarcity, high price, and then we look at our agricultural infrastructure in Rivers State from local to state level, and we're seeing that, well, we really haven't invested much. We haven't done what we ought to be doing 10, 15, 20 years back. Because if we had, it would not be as bad as it is now, where Gary is now a problem, when we have all the lands, we have cassava, we have That's just one area. You go to education, you look at the infrastructure, go to some local governments, look at the facility for schools, for children. It tells you decay and what we have not been doing. But we've been having elections, we've been having political leaders at different levels, occupying positions of power. Funds, budgets have been passed and signed and monies go around, but then we still have that level of decay. If you go to the health sector, I mean, on the news we were talking about over 16,000 doctors leaving. It spells the same thing. The investment that we have, it's almost as though we're not doing what we have on ground is not equivalent to the amount of resources that we put out every single year. So when the governor now says what he says about making impact, some would say perhaps he was also bothered. He's also concerned about what is happening. Some would say, well, it's just basically him wanting to take a shot at what the FCT minister, looking at the history of what happened in the state. But whatever it is, there's a message there. For you, when he says what he says, do you think it would wake up anything in politicians to say, okay, the death, sadly so, of Herbert Wigwe should be a lesson and we begin to change the way we approach this? Or should we say it's business as usual, as some people would say it, because immediately after he made that comment, we saw the Senate president say, we're not talking politics here, but made comments that referred to politics. Yeah. And some people said, oh, it's not even far and we're here. How would you interpret that then?
You've said so much, but one thing that you should know is that Sim Fubara is not the everyday politician. He's not the everyday politician. And guided by the fact that we shall pass through this world just but once. So whatever good that we need to do, we have to do it now. Because we shall not pass through this space again. It's just... So, like I stated earlier, it's not about the acquisition, but it's about the contribution that we are able to give back to the society. There's a lot of decay that cut across all the sector, whether agriculture, education, health, and just keep naming it. It may shock you that more than 90% of the gari that is consumed in Rivers State come from neighboring state. It's not even being produced by our people. The statistics are there, and the call by Fubara, like I stated, should not make politics out of that statement. It's a clarion call that we should come to our senses, because like a popular philosopher that lived in the 19th century said, one man's death diminishes me. I think when Fubara got to that point, he understand that we shall all go through this road one day. So that Wigwe's death is a consciousness that about our mortality. So it is a wake-up call, and it's only for petty-minded people that we want to trivialize and to make mockery and to make politics out of the statement. It was very clear. It was an innocent statement appealing to the political class, which I also fall, that there is no need killing, there is no need struggling, because the essence of power is to contribute, is to make good for the people.
Let's take this commercial. We'll be back.
Info. We'll be right back.
Our Deputy Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly, Mr. Kwanee, is with me in the studio. And quickly, let's hear what was said by the Senate President in response after Governor Fubara had sent his message to the political class. In the meantime, get on Facebook and be a part of the conversation. It is Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That is the handle on Facebook. So go there and join the conversation now. Share your thoughts. We're asking, after you heard the governor's message, what do you think should be done to get political leaders to commit to the development of the people? Some people are already saying it is beyond talk. They don't think that the political leaders would just, turn and begin to do the right things or do what is needed to be done and prepare as they ought to prepare just because of words. It takes more than words for that to happen. So, what's your thoughts? Get on Facebook and share that with us at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Okay, before I come back to my guest, let us hear what Senate President Godswill Akpabio said in response.
What is the struggle all about? I will answer you. The struggle, we are not talking politics. In 2006, I wanted to be a deputy governor. So the then deputy governor invited me and told me that this office has no money. There is nothing in it. I don't know why you still insist on moving me from here and taking over. So a woman who went with me said, Your Excellency, then don't wait for impeachment. Just resign since there is nothing in it. And he stood up and he started punching the woman. And I told him, Your Excellency, don't punch her. She's telling the truth. There is nothing in the office. That's why I want it. Because you are too big for it. So, Your Excellency, Governor Fubara, if there is nothing in the struggle, don't struggle.
Now, that was Senate President. Now, many people felt that the things he said was inappropriate and shouldn't be saying stuff like that or trying to make the situation look away, especially that event. Some people felt like, oh yes, somebody need to stand up and say something in response to what the governor said, because there are those who felt the governor was also sublimely taking shots, and so this was a good response. How do you interpret it?
You see, Mr. Ifeanyi, there's a popular thing: if you speak the truth, you still die. If you don't speak at all, you keep quiet, you still die. So, for me as a person, my challenge currently is that, like I stated earlier, our political spaces are occupied by self-seekers. They are occupied by men that are not considerate to the feeling of the people. The Senate President is a father to all of us, and at that level, I least expect him to come so low to the level of the governor. You are talking of number 3 citizens of the nation. So, responding to a very valid pronouncement of what the governor have said was actually uncalled for. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, there are people we expected, perhaps, maybe, the Senate President would have also said, well, politicians, we need to do more, and etc., etc. But then what we heard from the Senate President, do you look at it as, okay, this just shows that whatever the governor said doesn't really change the minds of anybody or many people or many politicians?
Andrew,
because the message was for the political class.
Yeah, it was.
And the idea is to hope that it spurs something in them to learn lessons from the passing of Herbert Wigwe.
Yeah.
But then we now got this from the Senate President. And then there's now the question of, it's the same thing. Like, the talk does not change anything. These people are still going to do what they want to do and interpret things the way they want to interpret it.
If what the governor said at that burial was not very important, if it has not changed anything, I will not be sitting here with you at the studio this morning. It is a wake-up call, and like I stated earlier, it was uncalled for Mr. Senate President to attack that kind of a very sensitive statement. And beyond all of that, this is Rivers State, and we want to see the extent to which we can make this state governable. We want to see the extent to which we can see that our people enjoy the best of life by good governance. by giving the necessary support to who is in the seat of power now. So Mr. Senate President is in Abuja. We are here in Port Harcourt, and that's why I'm here to give support to the governor of the state.
Like, we look at a few messages on Facebook. The governor's statement is true. It should also serve as sermon during the funeral. Last, all of us will pass through that journey. So why the struggle? This person says is watching from Southeast Asia. Wanari Raphael. Okay, Raphael, thank you. This one says Governor Fubara said what is expected at a funeral, basically saying that the fight for political power is vanity and that we should focus more on living a good life. But the Senate President brought politics into it. Udo Unkwe says truth is always bitter in the ears but very sweet in the mouth. The governor's speech was divinely arranged and prophetically delivered, though it tingled the ears of some elements who instantly opposed him. Agbam, you sent that one. Friday on Facebook says, my take on this is good that it's coming out from the political class, so they will think about it, even though some of the politicians are heartless. But the truth be told, our governor has just done that. Keep sending those messages. We'll take some more on Facebook as we go on. Let's take one more and then I take your calls before we go to the messages. Letura J. Jacob says the governor was very sympathetic in his message, but the Senate President didn't understand it. He should learn. All right. 0817-923-0002 0817-923-0002. You can also call 0817-923-0003. The comment by would the comment by the governor even cause that change in conscience that we seek, or what more should be done to get leaders to begin to really look at the problem? I mean, you look at the country to a point where we had Ukraine, who is war-torn at the moment, donating grains to Nigeria with all the farmers that we have, and with relative peace, if we are going to make comparison with Ukraine, we still had grains being donated to us. Some people call it a donation, but then the significance of it, what it looks like when you put some people questioned why we would even accept the grains in the first place, because people felt we're supposed to be the ones looking at Ukraine now in their state and say, take this for food. But that wasn't the case. And then many said this explains we can go on and on with the situation and how it explains where we are as a country. JJ, we'll start with you from Port Harcourt. Please keep it short, precise, and straight to the point. Good morning.
Andrew, good morning.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, this your guest in the studio. Sometime this year, Akpabio met Akwa Ibom State Governor Eno and told him of the need to work together to grow Akwa Ibom State. Some other newspaper. Akpabio that wants him, the Senate of the APC, they got to work to develop their state, is now the one that came here at that time and said that they should begin to shop for a replacement for a governor that is doing very well.
Hello, JJ.
But our people, hello.
Yes, go ahead. Make your point quickly.
Yes. Conclusively, our people say something that is the rat that lives inside the house that called the one outside that there is food here. Can Akpabio say then come here and also have different thoughts? JJ,
unfortunately, we can't hear you. We can't hear you very well, JJ. If you can hear me, it's not. It's not. We're having what would I call it? Interference. So please, let's go over to Yenegua now. Gift. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew, my brother. Good morning to your guests in the studio also.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let me go to the point. And this would be like hard facts in Nigerian Info. God bless Nigerian Info that has given us this type of a platform to express ourselves. The hard fact here is this. The governor goofed. With all due respect, that is not the place to go and make such a statement or comment. Have you listened to the people that have been commenting is making tributes? Nobody has tried this. It's the first person that has gone this way. And Akpabio was 110% right. Psychopathy is a sin, is a crime. We don't tell ourselves the bitter truth. How can you go to a restaurant and decide to this part? A family is grieving, and you decided to tell this part, and people are telling me the governor is right. Was there any political gathering for you to use that word? Are you a reverend father or a pastor or a prophet that is now admonishing people? The struggle you are talking about, APC complained in River State that PDP and the then governor and himself, everybody killed their members for him to become a governor of that state. And these guys even use the word that I'm sorry any day, and you are telling me struggle. It was referring to that political situation. River State, that is the bitter truth. Forget about all these sacrifices, people coming to support. Support what? Be good.
All right, Gift, thank you. Mufasa from NTA Road, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew. Good morning to the guests in the studio. I want to reiterate the position of the governor. What is all this struggle all about? Andrew, the governor was spot on, the governor was apt, and the governor was very, very objective. Now, let us understand that the governor did not exempt himself from that deep, sober reflection. A funeral ceremony is an occasion where people go and reflect and be sober. What is all this struggle all about? We will come empty, we will go empty. The government was only referring to the struggle for vanity. You came to this world without anything. And no matter how powerful, no matter how strong you think you might be, like I've said before, even the governor himself did not exempt himself from that position. Let us have deep proper reflection and not quote this governor out of context. The man wasn't referring to anybody. He was referring to everybody in that place, so that we should know that one day God will call each and every one of us and will go empty. That's my position this morning.
All right, thank you very much. Alfred from Emoha, good morning.
Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Alfred. Go on.
I think the governor is trying to draw his inference from the scripture. We said vanity upon vanity, all is vanity. Why would Akpabio take the governor's statement in that line than coming to River State every time to cause problem and to heighten the politics in River State? Recall that the other time that Akpabio visited River State, Akpabio began to shovel for who will replace a sitting governor when we have 3 years. 3 years. Yes, now you're talking about a replacement now when we still have 3 years to election. So Akpabio should mind the business of the Senate than the business of River State. It is not his state. And he should know that he is the Senate president of Nigeria. And as so, he should be guided with his own stances, not hiding the politics every time he comes to River State. Even though we know he aligns with Wigwe, he should please allow River State to be. Thank you.
All right, Alpha, thank you very much. Victor is in Rubo Krushi. Okay, let's start with Chima and Ada George. Chima, good morning. Turn down the volume of your radio, please.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Chima. Go ahead.
Yes, Andrew, I think the governor's statement is very correct, and it was all-encompassing. And this is a statement where people should have drawn lessons. You understand? He wasn't saying, in fact, that statement included himself. You understand? So he made that statement so the politicians can be able to draw lessons to know that the life, what you are struggling for, is nothing. You understand? Without making impact on it. That is the most paramount in there. It's the impact. You can't be struggling for something. At the end of the day, you acquire so much, and you are going to leave it one day. So this was a lesson that the Senate president would have drawn. But he decided to go the other way around. Instead of him to learn that lesson, he decided to play politics with it. You understand? I think this Senate president indeed has actually made some statement that does not befit the office of the Senate president. We had the last time where he talked about sending a prayer to their emails and all that. Later he went and corrected himself. So I think the man is being intoxicated because he has not seen himself. He has seen himself in a position that he never dreamt of. You understand? So I think the governor's statement is very, very correct. Politicians should learn a lesson. people dragging structure. The structure is not yours. You will leave the structure one day. So I think it's a lesson to them. Thank you.
All right, Victor from Rumukushi. After you, we'll go to Tina.
Okay.
Victor, good morning.
Andrew, good morning.
Mm-hmm.
In the first place, let me look at a diligent man talking. That is our governor. You want to know somebody that is diligent, you know him from his words. He's a diligent man. And I want to remind the man from, is it Bayelsa or whatever, that wherever we go with politicians, we play politics. So you should not forget that. You should have that in mind, that everywhere politicians go, you know, when you drop a word that is very, very important, you see it's like a bomb. You see some people waiting on it. That is what Akpabio is saying. I don't take Akpabio important. I don't take him serious for one day. I don't take him serious for one day. Because he's
being far. Based on how far is that people in Nigerian. It's something in that light. It's not because I don't want to be president, but if it's going to mean that we would have to start killing everybody before I become president, then let's just leave the presidency alone. Tina, good morning.
Good morning. Hello. Yes, sir. Mr. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning,
sir.
Go ahead.
You see, this president is somebody I respect so much while he was the governor of Akwa Ibom State. I respect this man, but today I have lost that respect for Akpabio because the way he's not talking like a Senate president. That kind of a person occupying that office is supposed to watch his words. He's not even supposed to come to the public and start talking anyhow so that he will command that respect. But today, because of his reckless utterances, it is no more getting that respect for people. And Akpabio should not be coming to River State to cause problem for goodness sake. Our government is doing well, and let's allow him to concentrate. Please, Akpabio should stop coming to this state to create problems. God bless you.
All right, Tina, thank you.
I love my governor, so please, Akpabio should stay away from Rivers politics.
All right, Tina, thank you. Andy from Rupoku, good morning to you.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Andy.
Andrew, first of all, I like the way you present issues because you articulate one thing or the other correctly. Let's say this. What did the governor say? The governor said for the politician or for the political class or classes, why kill? Why maim? Why kill? Why do you want to kill? So as we are talking right now, Fabio had answered that Fabio is a killer, allegedly. Yes, that is what. Let's tell ourselves the truth, because the governor said politicians that kill, that want to do evil, why kill? Why do this? When you know that one day you will leave everything. So for me and the rest of Rivers people, Fabio himself has declared himself as a killer, and we want to tell him that today, time for politics has not come. We are inviting him to come on 2027 to come and do the politics with us. We are ready for him because the governor in question, I am not of PDP, I am of APC, and I will say it from now to tomorrow. This governor, I had never wanted him to come back. So many of us, we kicked against it. We even said all sorts of things, that he doesn't talk, that he doesn't come to the media. Today, the governor is doing what we, the opposition, like. And we will maintain it, and we will pursue him, and we will make sure anybody who wants to remove him from 2027, we will fight against him. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we'll just quickly take Temple and Lugard, and then we come back to wrap things up with my guest in the studio. So please, Temple from Rumumasi, we'll start with you. Make it very short. Thank you.
Good morning, once again, the very distinguished family.
All right, Temple, yes, go on.
Yes, sir. In the morning, on my way going to buy Accra, before I came back, the morning crossfire, the minister is finished. The very distinguished family, Andrew, if we must tell ourselves the truth, my governor did not struggle to where he is today, and he's not that power drunken. And I want to appeal, a passionate appeal, to our Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, to please plain script written for him. If we must tell ourselves the truth again as a people, nobody is struggling for anything. But I welcome his statement too. But he directed it to the wrong person. Tim was the wrong person he directed that statement to, because Governor Tim is not dragging anything. He's not even struggling for anything. But for the interest of Rivers people and for the development of Rivers State, please,
All right, Temple.
There is said that no longer in the evening church. It should always come to ensure that there is peace, not causing more problem to the Rivers people.
All right, Temple, thank you. Lugard from Eche. All right, and we also have Christian standing by. I wanted us to end with Lugard. Lugard, quickly, go ahead. Ifeanyi Andrew, go on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Greetings from Eche to you.
Straight to the point, please.
Yeah, I commend your guest for what you have spoken so far. I want to say the level of politicians we have today are not there for the interest of the people. They are there for their own selfish interest. Where belief first, where power first, we see them pressing, running towards that area. They don't even care what the people are passing through. On the statement by Akpabio and the governor of Rivers State, Leyii Fubara, I want to ask Leyii Fubara now question that. You see, what you preached that day about what are the struggle for, are you exactly implementing the same, or are you working towards what is the struggle for? Because last time I checked, the Ring Road project, 200 billion was borrowed, and a lot of money have come to the state, both internal generated revenue and other monies are coming. And I, Lugaman, have not seen what you are doing with those money. But you are preaching what are the struggle for. Where are those monies? In my own local government, Eche, there is no single project flagged up by you, or even old ones that have been executed by you. Now you are busy saying what are the struggle for. And you have the opportunity to develop River State. What are you doing with the resources that came to River
All right, Lugard, thank you very much. Christian, Body Island, quickly, let's hear from you as we attempt to wrap things up.
Yes, Andy. You see, the Bible says, by their fruits you shall know them. There is no two ways about it. Our governor, Leyii Fubara, is a very good governor. From his statements, you know, you can place and class that man where he's going, the kind of person he is, and all the projects he has been doing. River State should not make any mistake about it. That man is a good man. I am telling you the truth. They should give him every necessary support. You understand? Right. He's different from every other politicians we've been seeing. That guy has clarified himself. But
all right, Christian. Thank you very much. Some messages. Priya says, we've seen previous governors turn every forum they find themselves to a rostrum to deliver political rhetoric, referring to the administrations of Amechi and immediate past Governor Wigwe. We all remember Who Is Your Brother by Amechi and You Must Go by Wigwe. These men delivered this gospel everywhere they went. No matter who they were talking to, even if they were talking to children, they delivered that gospel. Namdi says, good morning. The governor's speech is a call for sober reflection among the living. But for the Senate president, it was playing politics with everything, even in the funeral of that magnitude. Good Kingdom says, when an elder behaves like a child, he will be treated as a child. Senate president response to the governor's statement, for me, is childish. Ikeagu Suzy says, the governor's message was political and unnecessary, as such attracted political response. Was Dr. Wigwe a politician? Did Dr. Wigwe die as a result of political struggle? Then, unfortunately, Susie, I would have to respond to this myself. For what you've said simply means you did not listen to what the governor said. The governor did not say Wigwe was a politician. But then, Mr. Kwanee, as we attempt to wrap up, if it wasn't the governor who gave that comment, do you think it would have carried the weight it's carried now? If the governor wasn't the person who made that statement?
Well, if the governor was not the one that made that statement, it would not have carried this magnitude of weight. And the fact that it has generated this level of reaction is a welcome development. You know, initially I was trying to restrain myself on saying certain things, but we live in a world where the intelligent must keep quiet so that the stupid will not be offended. But far be it from this time. I will continue to express myself the way I should, because if you speak, you will die. If you don't speak, you will also die. As it is currently in River State today, Fubara represents the beacon of hope for the new rivers. Fubara represents the end of godfatherism. Fubara every day is gaining legitimacy, is gaining popularity, is gaining acceptability among all river sons and daughters. And that's why you see people like us with our record of services over the years, we have decided to throw our heart behind Fubara. It may interest you that I have not been around the brick house in the last 8 to 8. The last time I was there was in 2015. I have never been within the precinct of the brick house, but I cannot continue to sit on the fence and not to defend the interest of the average Rivers person. So whichever way you look at it, we are not going to, our period on this planet Earth is for a season, and you can only be remembered for the contribution that you make.
All right, let's take a short commercial. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Stay with us.
We'll be right back after this.
River State House of Assembly, Leyii Kwanee. Jude is also with us because he's preparing for Hello Port Harcourt, which is coming immediately after the news at 9.
Good morning.
All right, but let's get to Mr. Kwanee quickly. So, the messages and the interpretations of what the governor said. I watched Sanusi trying to tell you how influential and how powerful Herbert was. And how much of a friend he was as well, amongst many other people who were present at the occasion, which is why I was asking the response to people saying, oh, Herbert was not a politician. Why would the governor make such a comment? Let's just get your thoughts on that quickly.
Well, there is no way you can separate the political side of me, and I will continue to talk Rivers. Any person talking Herbert was not a politician. For me, Fubara too was not also talking politics at that occasion. He was talking morality. He was being very philosophical. He was also looking at the life hereafter, and that the essence of life is all about making contribution and not as to so much of what you acquire. Because if Herbert, who was not even a politician, could hold the country to a siege for that length of period, you can see Dangote shutting down his business. You see this caliber of men confining themselves for over 3 hours in that church service. That should tell us the
level of influence,
the level of influence that he has. And finally, for me, I want to send this message to the governor. Rivers people are looking up to him now. He just have to sit up and do the needful by delivering on all of the promises that he has made to the people. He should banish the thought of resignation. The so-called current State House of Assembly should also banish the thought of impeaching a Fubara, because he is the one we have as governor for now.
All right.
And we will give him all the support needed in order to take this state.
Thank you very
where
much,
it's supposed to be.
Mr. Kwanee, for your time. Jude, hello, Port Harcourt. Today is Monday, yes?
Yeah, it is, and it's the final for I Beg to Differ. The final debates will come your way by 11 o'clock.
All right. I wish I was winning, but it is what it is. All right, thank you very much. The news is next.